10 insane facts about porcupines I bet you never knew. The last one will shock you. Let's dive in. Number 1, they have 30,000 quills. A single adult porcupine has approximately 30,000 quills covering its body. That's not a typo. 30,000 individual needle-sharp defensive weapons growing from its skin at all times. Each quill is a modified hair made of keratin, the same material as human fingernails, but structured in a way that makes it incredibly sharp and surprisingly strong. And here's what makes them even more remarkable. Porcupines can regrow lost quills. If a predator gets stuck and the porcupine loses a few hundred quills in the encounter, they simply grow back within a few weeks. It's a renewable defense system that never runs out. Number 2, they don't shoot their quills. Despite what you've probably heard, porcupines cannot shoot their quills. This is one of the most common animal myths in existence, and it is completely false. What actually happens is this. When threatened, a porcupine will turn its back to the predator, raise its quills and shake its body rapidly. The quills are loosely attached to the porcupine's skin. So when a predator strikes or bites, the quills detach on contact and embed themselves into the attacker. It looks like the porcupine launched them. But really, the predator impaled itself. The porcupine didn't throw anything. It just stood there and let physics do the work. Number 3, the quills have backwards-facing barbs. Porcupine quills are not smooth. They are covered in tiny backwards-facing barbs, microscopic hooks that make removal almost impossible without medical intervention. When a quill enters flesh, those barbs grip the tissue. And every time the victim moves, the muscles contract and relax, the barbs pull the quill deeper into the body. Researchers have documented cases where porcupine quills have migrated several inches through an animal's body over the course of days or weeks. Dogs are frequent victims of porcupine encounters. And veterinarians will tell you, removing porcupine quills is one of the most painful procedures an animal can endure. Because pulling a barbed quill out tears the tissue even more than when it went in. Number 4, baby porcupines are born with soft quills. I'm sure you don't know why. Baby porcupines, called porcupets, are born with quills. But here's the surprising part. Those quills are soft at birth. For the first few hours of life, a newborn porcupine's quills are flexible and harmless. This is nature's way of protecting the mother during birth. Can you imagine giving birth to 30,000 needles? Evolution solved that problem elegantly. Within just a few hours after birth, the quills harden and become fully functional defensive weapons. By the time the porcupet is a few days old, it is just as dangerous to touch as an adult. Number 5, they are excellent climbers. Porcupines are exceptional climbers. Despite their bulky appearance and the weight of all those quills, porcupines spend a significant amount of time high up in trees. They have strong curved claws and specialized feet that grip bark effortlessly. Some species of porcupine are almost entirely arboreal, meaning they live most of their lives in the treetops, only coming down occasionally to forage on the ground. And what are they doing up there? Eating. Porcupines love tree bark, leaves, and fresh shoots. In winter, when food is scarce, porcupines will strip entire sections of bark off trees, sometimes killing the tree in the process. Foresters consider them pests for this exact reason. Number 6, they are the third largest rodent in the world. Porcupines are rodents. And not just any rodents, they are the third largest rodents on the planet. Only the capybara and the beaver are larger. An adult North American porcupine can weigh up to 18 kilograms, about 40 pounds. That's the size of a medium dog, but with 30,000 defensive spikes and an attitude to match. They belong to the same scientific order as rats, mice, squirrels, and guinea pigs. But unlike their smaller cousins, porcupines are heavily armored, slow-moving, and completely unbothered by predators. Number 7, they make bizarre vocalizations. Porcupines are surprisingly vocal animals. They grunt, whine, chatter their teeth, and produce high-pitched shrieks when agitated or during mating season. Some of their sounds are genuinely strange. Porcupines have been recorded making noises that sound almost human-like, wailing cries that echo through forests at night and have startled more than a few hikers who had no idea what they were hearing. During mating season, male porcupines will vocalize loudly to attract females and warn off rival males. It's one of the few times these otherwise solitary animals become social and communicative. Number 8, their quills contain antibiotics. Porcupine quills naturally contain a fatty acid coating that has antibiotic properties. Scientists discovered this relatively recently, and the implications are remarkable. When a porcupine stabs itself accidentally, which does happen, the antibiotics on the quill help prevent infection. This means porcupines have evolved a built-in defense not just against predators but against the bacteria that would inevitably enter a puncture wound. Researchers are now studying porcupine quills to develop new types of medical needles and sutures. The backward-facing barbed design has inspired innovations in surgical equipment that needs to grip tissue securely without causing excessive damage. Nature built a better needle. And we're only just now figuring out how to copy it. Number 9, they live surprisingly long. For a rodent, porcupines have an extraordinarily long lifespan. In the wild, they commonly live 10 to 15 years. In captivity, some have been documented living over 20 years. Compare that to a typical rat which lives 2 to 3 years, or a mouse which barely makes it to 2 years. The porcupine's defensive system is so effective that it faces almost no natural predation once it reaches adulthood. They don't need to be fast. They don't need to hide. They don't need to fight. They simply exist, covered in 30,000 reasons why nothing should bother them, and they live long, unbothered lives as a result. Which brings us to the final fact. And this one is genuinely shocking. Number 10, they kill predators days after their encounter. Porcupine quills don't just hurt. They can kill. And not immediately, sometimes days or even weeks after the initial encounter. Here's what happens. When a predator, let's say a mountain lion or a dog, attacks a porcupine and gets a face full of quills, those quills don't just sit there. They migrate. The backwards-facing barbs combined with the animal's muscle contractions cause the quills to move deeper into the body over time. Quills have been found embedded in vital organs, hearts, lungs, brains, far from the original point of entry. In documented cases, mountain lions have died weeks after a porcupine encounter because a single quill migrated through tissue and punctured a vital organ. The porcupine was long gone. The fight was over. But the quill kept working. It's a delayed death sentence. The porcupine doesn't need to fight. It doesn't need to chase. It doesn't even need to win the encounter. It just needs to make contact. And nature does the rest. That is why the porcupine, slow, ungainly, and seemingly harmless, has survived for millions of years. Because attacking one isn't just painful. It can be fatal. Even if it takes weeks to happen. 30,000 quills. Antibiotic-coated needles. A body that turns predators into victims days after the fight is over. The porcupine doesn't run. It doesn't hide. It doesn't need to. It just exists. And that alone is enough. If that changed how you see these animals, subscribe to Mr. Wild Facts. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we uncover the bizarre, shocking, and unbelievable secrets of the animal kingdom. Nature is stranger than fiction. And we're just getting started.